Oh, hello, hello. It is Thursday night. It is Thursday. And what the hell is going on? Why am I here? Oh my goodness. Hello, John. Hello, Diane. Good to see you guys. I don't know how many people are going to join us tonight. I know I'm a day early, and I have a good excuse for it. I see the numbers are starting to go up. Karen, what's up? Oh, she's awake. Melissa, hello. All right, Diana, hi. I am so confused. All right, so let me get to it right away. This weekend, I am going to a memorial service. So a colleague had passed away suddenly about 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago now. And the organization that I write for, Skeptical Inquirer and the Center for Inquiry, they're having a memorial service on Saturday, and I found out about this last week. Last weekend, I went up there to Buffalo, New York. I was up there for a few days, and I mean, I knew that. And the gentleman's name is Tom Flynn. He was really big in the humanist aspect of the organization and the atheist aspect. Really awesome guy. I mean, fun-loving, just cracking jokes, but very serious. He was a historian with all things humanists. So it was a sudden loss too. So very unexpected and sad. But when I was up there doing some work last week, I was able to find out that they're having the memorial service this weekend. And I rearranged some things on my schedule so that I could go back up. And Donna is going to join me. Donna is not here tonight. Donna is out bowling. It's her bowling night. But the reason we're doing it tonight is more or less because last week I didn't do a show. And because I was up in Buffalo, I was doing work for Joe Nickel. I was doing a little bit of work, side work for him. And I didn't want to go 2 weeks without hanging out with you guys. I miss you guys. I miss doing this. So the third part of this story is that in order to get up there, because I work second shift, and it's a pain in the ass. I hate second shift. I hate it. But I don't get home until like 8 o'clock. And then I wanted to do the show, which would take me to 11. And then it's a 7-hour drive in total to get up to Buffalo from where we are. So it was either like leave after the show, which is never good because I'm usually, a little feeling good here, or get up at 4 a.m. Get up before 4 a.m. and leave at 4 a.m. to get up there in time. But now we changed a few things around because my shift at work shifted. And anyway, I wouldn't be able to make it, so I decided to do it tonight. So I hope that's okay with you guys. So let me go through. It's been a while since I had to go through the comments myself. So it's nice to see everyone. I'm happy. I hope that alleviates your confusion there, Diana. John, thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's okay. You got to do what you got to do. Yes, you do. Hell yeah. I missed you too. Thank you, John, man. Oh, I missed you guys. What happened with this chat from Paralogies? Paralogies? You mean Paranologies? Oh, my good friend JJ. We can address that a little bit. I don't know all the details, but basically tonight is open mic night. You guys know the rules. I'm going to go over the rules anyway before I get to this. Let me see. So now I have to go over here, go here. There's the rules. So rule number 1 is you are welcome to ask any kind of paranormal related question that your little heart desires. That's what it is. Open mic night is just your night. You get to ask the questions. And I'm going to even add on to that if you want to come on the show, which is really good because I'm here alone. So if you want to come on the show, keep me company for a little bit, I will send you the link and you can jump on. Rule number 2 is I don't know everything. And you guys know that because sometimes I do some stupid shit. But I don't know everything. And if I don't, I will look it up for you, or I will write it down in my trusty notebook. I'm sporting the 3TS notebook today. That was a gift from Tim Vickers. Rule number 3, listen to Patrick Swayze. Be nice. That's the golden rule. The whole idea of this show is to drink, for one, talk about skepticism and the paranormal, and have a good time, have a good discussion. So be nice to each other, have a good discussion in the chat room, but don't be a dick. Because if you're a dick, I have the power tonight. I always have the power, but I have the power tonight to boot your ass. And I really don't like doing that, but I will if I have to. I've done it. Number 4, rule number 4. This is an important one. If you have a question, please do me a favor and put a Q in front of it. That way it helps me, especially tonight, to pick out the questions. And I will try to get to as many as possible, if not all of them. And then 5, rule number 5, the golden rule. I love this rule. Drink up. Drink up, which I'm doing. I'm a little bit less because I do have to go to work tomorrow. But oh no, but that does taste good. All right, let's see. What are these no rules? Hey Dana, how you doing, girl? Let's see. The rules are just be a good human. There you go. Thank you, Sandy. That's the perfect thing to say. John Kennedy, the first rule of open mic night is we don't talk about open mic night. There you go. Except you reminded me of it. It's okay. You got to do. Okay. Let's see. What else we got? Wish I would have researched some. I would have came on. I have nothing tonight. Oh, well, then it's going to be a short night. If you guys don't have questions, then we're screwed. I do have a few topics that I'm going to talk about, but please, I mean, if you have questions, feel free to put them in there. And again, if you want to come on, I will. Oh my God, I'm going to do something I never do. I never do this. So for the first time, I'm going to put the link in the chat room. This is scary. I don't like doing this all the time because, whoever's watching might be, in there lurking around and they might not, but I get to see you before you come on. So I'm going to put it on there anyway. There we go. All right. And it's in there. Oh, what do we got here? Can we talk about your work with Joe? Maybe. Let me get to the other question that I had first. I got to find my glasses so I can see because I'm getting old. Let's see. Karen, I think you talked about, yes, here it is. You're talking about paranologies. Oh my God, Tom from Tom's World is on. You better have a fucking question, Tom from Tom's World, and not just coming on to dick around. Hold on a second. I'm going to bring you on. What's up?
Maybe a little of both,
Okay.
All right. So when I was doing a video.
Wait. Before you get that, let me answer this question real quick.
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead.
The guy with paranologies. I've talked to him a few times. He absolutely hates me, hates me with a passion because I took apart one of his gadgets that he sells for an overhyped price, like a ridiculous amount of money for honestly a piece of shit. The person that donated this item to me, it arrived to them broken. So it's 3D printed body. It's as cheaply made as you can actually make it. And I talked to several people that do 3D printing for not for a complete living, but a good part-time job. And they said it was the shittiest, cheapest production they've ever seen. So from what I heard, that he kind of shut down his website. It's still up, but he stopped making things, and he promised to give out refunds to people that haven't received their orders, because there were hundreds of orders or hundreds of people I saw complaining that they had ordered things a year or so ago and still haven't gotten the product. The fuck is with that? So, and then there were several people that I did talk to face to face, where I strongly suggested that they talk to their bank and put a stop payment on it or take whatever legal action that they can, because that's fraud as far as I'm concerned. So I do know that he bought a hotel. He bought a historic hotel somewhere in Texas and was renovating it. And this is just bits and pieces that I've heard. So don't take it with a grain of salt. I'm not, and research it. But he bought a hotel, and from what I hear, that's all he's doing. He got on some ghost hunting TV show promoting it, where, I mean, the guy's a jackass. I mean, he makes up so much shit. So I don't know what's happening with him. I don't know if people are actually getting their money back, but I know a lot of people are complaining about him. So that's, as far as I know, Karen, that's the best thing I can give you for an answer. All right. What do you
What
got
kind
there,
of
Tom?
hokey TV show would have somebody on like that? I mean, what in the Baggins world would? I'm sorry. So, no, in relation to your show,
Sure.
paranormal related. So
Okay.
I was doing a video some time ago where I was looking for an in-ground crypt over near Station Ave off of State Road. And the first video I did turned up absolutely nothing. The second video I found it. But in the first video, when I was walking around in the woods there, nobody was around me that I could tell. I was kind of near Penryn Mansion at the time, but like not within an earshot of anybody.
Okay.
And I was doing my video, and the noise I heard did not turn up on my video, of course. But I swear to God, from right behind me, and it was like right in tune with whatever the hell I was saying at the time, which I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But I heard, I really expected to turn around and see a dude just standing there with an axe, like there was nobody there. How the hell could we explain this? I mean, it wasn't a bird.
How do you know it wasn't a bird?
Because you can tell what, like sound level. Like, I mean, birds would be up in the trees there, and the trees are really high all around Station Ave.
Well, the thing with that is it's very hard to determine where a sound is coming from when you're not looking directly at it. Especially for us, we are designed to zero in on things in front of us. I mean, that's why our ears come up in the back or come out in the back and not in the front. We're zeroed in on what's in front of us. So if there's a noise behind you, and if you're out in the open, you're out in the woods, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty deep woods at that point.
So, I mean, it's. I don't have citations in front of me. I can't give you references right now. I mean, we can revisit this later on, but I do believe it's not an echo effect, but you can have sounds that are pretty far away sound like they're very close, and vice versa. So I would, and I'm just venturing a guess here. I honestly don't know for sure, but I'm just venturing a guess that whatever you heard, I mean, you were focused on doing your video, and I've seen your videos.
Oh, yeah.
I watched all of them, so I know you're focused on talking to the camera, and you probably weren't paying attention to what's behind you. You heard this sound. It sounded like it was right behind you.
Like literally like 5 feet behind me, it sounded like.
But maybe it wasn't. And maybe it was just something, maybe it was something different. You know, I don't know, because what you hear, like what everyone hears and sees, even though you can describe it as best you can, I still don't know exactly what you saw or heard.
Right. It would have been better if it actually came up on the video, because and other people, but there was not even like a faint, like I watched that clip before I even edited the video. I turned up the sound all the way. I had my headphones on. I'm like clasping here. I'm trying. It's nothing, not even a little peep, but I know I heard it when I was there.
Yeah.
And it was like that kind of whistle, like to get your attention kind of whistle, you know what I mean? Which a bird could mimic, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely possible. And just the fact that you turned around and you didn't see anything.
It was a slow turnaround too. I'm like,
yeah. Well, that even gives it more time. So if there was something like a bird or something that was close by, it is possible. And I'm not saying this is exactly what happened, but it is possible that it made a sound and it flew away. And by the time you turned around, even if it was up high a little bit, you might not see it. You might not notice it. So, I mean, it's a cool story, but those are the typical stuff that we do here with ghost hunts, where it's like I heard something behind me and I turned around, I couldn't see it, or they see something down the end of the hall and they run down and try to find it, and there's nothing there.
Right.
So,
I mean, I had similar experiences in that garden over in Chamonix State Park, and I think I may have mentioned it previously on your show when I'd been on here. I was in the garden. It was raining that day, and I just happened to be there because I love that place. And I had my umbrella and everything, and nobody was in the park. There was no cars in the parking lot, nobody walking the paths. And I was talking out loud just because I don't know whether or not to fully believe in paranormal, to believe in ghosts, to believe in life after death, whatever. But
talking to yourself.
I did. Because I'm the only one that listens.
Well,
but
what?
yeah, right. But I would talk out loud just to see if I get any response or whatever, because I know nobody's around me to think, what the hell is this crazy guy doing talking to himself? It's different when I have a camera because
Right.
then at least they know. But like I didn't have one that day, and I could swear, like I was standing at the back of the garden, if you can picture it, like back by that one tree that's got like bricks in front of it, and I'm standing on that, and from the left side, which is closer to the pool, I did hear what sounded like voices, different voices throughout time that I was there. I just couldn't make out what they were saying or anything like that. And again, it could have just been some kind of sound matrixing kind of thing going on with the rain and all this other stuff. And I understand that. But then not long after that, I did a live video from the garden, and it was during a better weather day. Like it wasn't raining or anything. But like I actually turned around at one point when I was doing the live because it sounded like somebody said, "Hey, Tom." And I turned around, and other people said they actually heard it in the video. It could have been somebody saying, "Hey, Mom," in the distance or whatever. But like, I mean, I experience these things, and my logical mind is just saying, "Yeah, well, that was just this. That was just that."
There is, and I'm making a note of this because I have read something before about you're talking about the rain. The rain generates white noise because you have this white noise around you, and you're going to hear things that sound like a conversation. And there's a similar situation where people hear voices and or full conversations that they can't make out when they're sleeping with an air conditioner on,
Right.
because it creates that noise. And from what I remember, and again, I wrote it down so I look it up later and get back to you. But from what I remember reading, it was that certain receptors that are hearing, that are taking in the sound, they get used to this because the white noise is not constant. It is variable.
Right.
So you have these different sounds, but the ones that are constant start to get tired. These receptors get tired, and they're like, well, we're hearing the same thing over and over again. It's kind of like when in your field of vision, when you see something that there's no different stimuli, it doesn't change. The cones and rods get tired, and they're like, well, we're only seeing the same shit. We don't have to keep alert. So they kind of stop. They don't really stop, but they just stop because they're like, oh, we don't have to listen anymore. It's the same shit. But then, or I guess the better analogy is that they get tired because they're listening to the same thing. So they get tired and they kind of shut off for a little bit, and then they come back on. And that, the different receptors shutting down, coming back on, that creates that idea of I'm hearing a conversation.
Right. And I do understand to some extent the imagination.
Well, that plays into it. Yeah. Once you get that idea.
Because I was saying things, and then like within less than a minute, I was hearing what I deemed at the time, at that split second, as a response. And it was in, like, I heard a male voice, I heard a female voice, but then again, I do know the history of the place, and I do know that, you know, there was a male owner, there was a female owner, and there was a daughter, and all that. So that could just be made up in my head, and
it could be your imagination influencing what you're hearing.
Exactly.
Because I've done it. I mean, there's countless times when I've gotten up in the middle of the night because I'm like, I hear people talking. Damn it, I'm gonna find it. But as soon as I walk out of the bedroom, it's gone. And I'm like, all right.
It's really fun when you wake up to what you feel is somebody like screaming your name in your ear. That's fun. Or just whispering it in your ear. It's like, hey, Tom.
That would be cool. I've never experienced that.
I've had that.
I've done I've experienced the thinking I hear my name when I'm in the shower. But that kind of goes along with the same thing. You know, you have that white noise from the falling water, and you kind of think, oh, somebody call my name? Oh,
right.
Out, there's nobody home. I'm like, all right.
I've heard a female voice when I'm in the shower, and then I get out expecting to see my sister downstairs or something hanging with my dad.
Yeah.
No, it's just him. I'm like, was anybody here? He said, no. Okay.
Right. I'm gonna keep moving. You can hang out for a while if you want. It's up to you.
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna answer some questions.
I ain't got nothing else y'all knowing.
All right. So, John Kennedy, can we talk about your work with Joe? So I can tell you a little bit. about it. So Joe Nickell, if you don't know who Joe Nickell is, you should. He's the author of one of these books that I have to send out to John, which is still here, John. I just haven't. I've been so busy, I haven't gotten into it yet, but I will be. He's been investigating paranormal claims from a scientific point of view for over 50 years. I think he's at 52 years, like professionally. Damn. He's been doing.
How old is he?
Stuff. He's 77. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's still working on stuff.
He's awesome.
Which I mean, we did an article together. It was more like an article / outline of if you have a ghost in your photo, here's like an outline chart where you can find like apparition and then see what possible causes would make an apparition appear in your photo. And not, like it's a ghost. It's long exposure, somebody messing with it, phone app, stuff like that. So reflections, yeah, in glass or plexiglass, which is common in museums. So we were working on some projects like that, different genre, but similar. But the main reason he asked me to come up is because he wants to write a book about his collection, and he has a collection. I mean, like you see the stuff behind me, and these are mostly books, and then I have sci-fi and comic book and shit like that, and then down in the basement I have the Mystery Museum. I don't know why I put air quotes around it. I don't know why I did that. Maybe alcohol.
That'll really draw people in.
Yeah, they're like, oh, mystery.
I will attend it at some point.
Yeah, we got to get you over here.
Yeah, I haven't been there since last summer.
Yeah. All right, so downstairs in the Mystery Museum, I have a whole bunch of stuff, and I've talked about it before, allegedly haunted stuff, and then a few items that I collect from my investigations when I am allowed to take something home. So Joe has been he investigated stuff from like miracles, like weeping statues, crying portraits, bleeding portraits. He's done monsters, lake monsters and stuff like that. He's done ghosts, of course, and then all kinds of things. And he's collected items from all of his investigations everywhere he's gone to. He's collected not only stuff that was part of his investigation, but novelty items that had to do with maybe a legend that he was investigating or pursuing. So, like, I mean, he has spirit trumpets. And if you're familiar with seances, Victorian style or spiritualist mediums that did seances, a spirit trumpet was like this collapsible horn, usually made out of aluminum because steel was just too heavy. But it would collapse down to about that big, but it would extend out and it looked like one of those big long horns that you could, blow through and like kind of thing. And allegedly during a seance in the dark, there would be just enough light to see this item and it would float. It would levitate. It was actually some guy lifting it up, but it would levitate. So he has several. He has several of these from like Lilydale and Chesterfield, which are two they're spiritualist communities. And he's collected stuff like that. He's got rare paintings of his alleged spirit guides. He's got tons of stuff. If you actually do a search for Joe Nickell Skepticism, don't ask me how to spell it, but do a Google search for it. Just talking to it. Girl, shut up! I'm drinking.
Well, I don't know why I would never do that. I don't know what you're talking about.
You'll see many things he has, and it's really cool. So he wants to do a book, like a really detailed book. And so I went up there to do photography for it. So I took pictures of most of the stuff in his collection, and I got to touch a lot of it. Really freaky shit too. I can't wait till it comes out. But that's all him. I just did the photography for it. He's going to write the book. So that's Joe's work. That's what I was doing up there.
So, you had mentioned the term spiritualism, which was used before paranormal, like as far as like to describe the same type of field, basically.
Well, no, they're two different things.
Well, yeah, but like my reason for saying so is a recent place that I went to the last video that I made for my channel, I went to Neshaminy Falls,
Okay.
and there was apparently an old amusement park there, and they had at one point they had a clamshell stage, and they used to have people come there for like 30 some years, who were considered to be spiritual of some sort. Like they had these people called the Rapping Sisters. Like when I saw this and it was spelled Rapping, I thought there was no rap back in the 1920s. What the hell is this? So I actually looked into it, and it was like meaning like rapping on the table kind of things like that. And like they considered that to be all spiritualism, which like from their definition of what everybody that they had there today would be called paranormal nowadays.
Spiritualism was a more of a religious movement that was born of the Fox sisters. So the Fox sisters were the ones
that may have been them
that started it, and this is in.
Oh, I gotta look that
up. Crap, I'd have to look it up. Somebody in the chat room want to look up when the Fox sisters started, but they claim to have been in touch with a Mr. Splitfoot that was in their home, and they would have communication, and it really grew from that. And they would do rappings, which again, it was like you said, rappings like that.
The Rochester Rappers trio embarked. God damn. I'm looking to see if that was their name. The Fox sisters. There was a picture of them too.
Fox sisters were I don't recall them ever being called the Rochester Rappers.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't remember hearing that.
No, I wasn't them. That does sound familiar. Oh wait, spiritualism took off like a rocket. Coast to coast mediums claim the same talent as the Fox sisters.
Okay.
Okay, I knew I saw that name in the article. I had to look back.
So they were all about spirit communication and pretty much the early mediums, which I believe there were other mediums at the time, but the Fox sisters garnered a lot of press. They went viral before viral was a thing, and it just took off until they eventually, I mean, it was a couple years later, but they eventually admitted that, they were doing it. And then they got poor, and then they tried to recant their admission to try to get back in the limelight, and it didn't work. So
same thing happened to these people too.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, I got John in the queue, so I'm gonna boot you, bitch. And
all right, man.
But it was good talking to you, buddy. Thanks for stopping in.
And always, man.
I will talk to you soon.
All right, man. See you all later.
Later. There's John.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Oh, no, I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad you're on tonight. I was worried there wasn't going to be a show this week either.
I know. So was I. I mean, I was going to do it. I'm up until this morning. I was planning on doing the regular time, and just when I got up this morning, I was so tired. So I think I touched on it a little bit, but this week I shifted my shift. So I'm usually second shift from 12 to 8, and then we shifted it to from 8 a.m. until 4 because we have a new building opening, and there's a lot of work, and we're trying to get it. We have a deadline to try to get it working and make sure everything's good. So I'm going in early and working just nonstop, 10-hour days. So I woke up this morning like there's no way I'm going to be able to drive for 7 hours after working and doing a show and then drinking. No, there's no way. So I'll die. So here I am tonight doing it and hanging out with you and Mr. I don't have a question. I don't have nothing tonight. And then boom, guess who's on? What's up, man? What do you got?
So I started thinking about it, and I wanted to. I didn't want this to be a short show, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going to come up with something." And a couple weeks ago, I'm not going to name any names. We were discussing in chat about anecdotal evidence, and I wanted to come on and say, or ask you, what's the problem with anecdotal evidence and why that's not really admissible in science-based topics?
So I I don't think there's a problem with it. And it's certainly used. I mean, when you talk about psychology and psychiatry, I mean, it's certainly anecdotal is their meat and potatoes. It's people telling them their experiences and what happened and why they feel this way. So it's anecdotal. The problem I have when it's used is, I guess, and I don't know, Dave. Maybe Dave. I see Dave's in the chat room. Maybe he can help a little bit. But and also Tim. We might have a 3TS early night. Maybe if I get them both to come on and help me out with this. But basically, I guess anecdotes are the stories that you tell from your perspective. So you're telling about if you have some kind of experience and you think it was a ghost experience or a UFO experience, you're telling what happened from your perspective, and it doesn't include any instruments that will record environmental data. It doesn't it usually doesn't include photographs or video or audio recordings. It's usually just your story, your perspective. And I keep using the word story, and I don't want people to get put off by that, because I'm not just saying it's their story. They're telling you what happened to them as they remember it, and that's part of the problem. We have terrible memories. We are awful at eyewitness testimony, and remembering the details, I think, is more of a starting point. So you tell me the story of what you experienced, and we go from there. We start checking facts. We start checking where you were, what you could have seen. A classic example was when people see like a UFO. And then actually, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks back, when we had Charlie Moss on, and he was talking about his podcast with Brawley Pond. And the woman that he interviewed claimed to have seen this green orb in the trees, hovering above the trees or through the trees. And she gave dimensions. She gave the size of this thing and how far away it was from her and how high off the ground it was. And that's pure perspective. That's her telling her version of it. And that really needs to be investigated and verified, because if you don't know what an object is, and this is a big problem with UFO reports all over, you don't know how big the object is. You don't know what the object is. You have no size reference. So unless you can triangulate that object, you can't tell exactly how big it is, because you don't know how far it is. And most estimates like that, when you say, oh, it's about 20 feet off the ground, when you measure that, it usually is not 20 feet.
Right.
I'm not good at that. I mean, I can look and go, oh yeah, that's like 50 feet. I don't fucking know. I really don't. I'm just making it up. I'm guessing. That's why I take a tape measure with me when I go on investigations, because I want to know how far away were you. If I interview you and we talk and I say, all right, how far away do you think you were? Oh, maybe like 10 yards. Okay, let's measure that out. And then, like in the case of Bigfoot sightings, when people say, oh, it's like 7 or 8 feet tall, or 10 feet tall, that's an estimation. And you really can't tell if something's a football field away and you have no frame of reference. The only frame of reference, the closest frame of reference we have is people like us, and if we're talking about a male, your average height is like 5'10", 5'11", that's an average. And so if we see what we think is a Bigfoot from a football field away, it might look big because we're thinking that, it's Bigfoot. It's supposed to be big. So you might add on a foot or two. Anecdotes are not bad, 100%. They are a starting point for me. And I want to go through the person's story, and I want to check all the details and go from there. Because sometimes it does help. Sometimes the story that they give you is helpful, because they might tell you that, all right, so for an example, I'm going to give you an anecdote to explain an anecdote. So how dirty am I? So basically, someone told me about their story with an alleged ghost. They were at a party. They were in this apartment, and they saw this person that they thought was in period dress, which was out of character with everyone else, from across the room in a crowded room. And by the time they made their way over to the kitchen where they saw this person, that other person was gone. So I kept asking, like, all right, what do you mean by period dress? Oh, well, they had like a long dress on and stuff. Well, my next question was, are you sure? Like you said, it was really crowded, that you had to like push through people to get there. Did you really see the full body? And the more they thought about it, well, maybe I didn't. Maybe I just saw from like the bust, from
Right.
the chest up. I'm like, all right, well, that changes the story a little bit. And then their main story was like, oh, well, I only saw it for like 10 seconds and then I was over there and they were gone. And the more I talked to them, more I realized it was a few minutes later that they eventually made their way over, and then they couldn't find the person anymore. So these details really need to be checked when people tell you stories, because they change over time. They get influenced by when you tell other people, and then they
Yep.
give input. If you have a similar experience, you start merging the details. There's a lot that can go wrong. So, but that being said, the other details that she eventually came up with helped understand what went wrong with that story. So I was still relying on what she told me, which is the only thing I could rely on. So
Right.
the anecdote helped to kind of not debunk, but kind of debunk the anecdote that she originally put forth as proof positive of a ghost. So I don't know if that made sense. I don't know if I went off the rails there, but
No, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Another issue with it that I think is you got like confirmation bias,
yeah.
especially when people are seeing how often something happens and trying to relate it to something else. For instance, like a full moon causing erratic behavior. You're gonna focus on the hits and ignore the misses, and you're
Mhm.
really more focused on, oh, it's a full moon tonight, so I'm going to see these things. So you're priming it on top of that.
Right.
Um, and the second part of my question goes to, so at what point can we sit there and say there's enough statistics here, there's enough data to back this claim up, and it goes against your anecdotal evidence, and the person doesn't accept that? It's like all these statistics that we've done over the years, and I present them to person A, and person A is like, well, my anecdotal evidence says otherwise, and I don't believe the stats.
Okay. So that falls under the backfire effect,
Hmm.
which is something that's pretty well known, and it's basically when you present someone. Well, it starts out with cognitive dissonance. So you start challenging someone's belief, and you start offering information that contradicts what they believe. And it's usually if it's information that is solid and verifiable, and you can say, okay, here's references, you can check these studies and this studies, especially if you're talking to Dave Schumacher. I mean, he's got studies that are dance. I love you, Dave. So you can present all this, and then it causes turmoil within the person's brain. You basically have this battle going on. You're listening to something and you're saying, well, that does sound logical, but I believed in this so long. It causes this internal struggle, internal stress, where you're like, I don't want to let go because this is familiar, and most people hate change.
Right.
And they don't want to change, and they're like, no, what's going on? And then the backfire effect kicks in, where they dig in their heels and they're like, no, I'm going to stick with what I originally believed, even though you have all these facts. I'm going to still stick with my idea. And unfortunately, I mean, that happens, and that's why I kind of stress all the time to be nice and have a conversation, not a debate.
Right.
When you sit down and talk like this and have a conversation and say, well, maybe let's consider this idea. What do you think about this? And maybe that if you push a little bit, but not hard, if you're not aggressive, then I have found people are more acceptable, or they're more accepting of what you're trying to tell them, of what
Right.
you're trying to say, especially if you can demonstrate it. With photography, that's an amazing thing because I can take pictures of orbs. I fucking hate orbs. Or other things. You can demonstrate, like, okay, under these conditions that you described, we can do the same thing here and come up with the same effect. And that, especially if you get them to do it. And I'm no stranger to letting someone take my camera, saying, here, hold this, take the picture, same settings, go ahead, take the picture, do it yourself. And when they do it themselves, they're like, wow, okay, I did this. They didn't do something and try to trick me. I did it myself. It kind of sinks in a little bit more. And I think you have a better chance when you do that. Not always, but I think you do have a better chance when you do it that way. So you're still going to be you're still going to face that situation. That's never going to go away.
Right.
People have their beliefs, and even though I keep saying, like, I don't have beliefs, I have ideas. Sometimes my ideas, I do hold on to them, and it's when I start really getting aggressive to hold on to my idea, that's when I stop and take a walk. Like, am I really
Yep.
doing this? Am I saying this just to be right? Or am I saying it because I am right and there is a point here? Let me figure it out, because then I can come back and say, well, you know what? I really thought about it and I realized that I was wrong. Or I thought about it, I Googled the shit out of it and realized I do have some studies that back this up, and I'm going to stick with it because the evidence still says this is the correct way now, and your way is not so correct. That's the nice way of saying nope, you're fucking wrong. So, all right, that answer your question, buddy?
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, I got someone else in the queue. I got Audra in the queue, so I'm going to let you go. Thanks for hanging out. And we're bringing Audra in so she can tell a story, I think. So take care, buddy.
All right, you too. Later, guys.
Bye. All right, this is fun. It's like guest speakers all around. Hey, Audra.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Okay. I'm pretty good. Pretty good.
All right. You said you got a quick story to tell.
Quick story to tell. So this has to do with the whole sound thing.
Okay.
At one point, I was in a cemetery with one of my friends, daytime trip. We were just looking around. And she had climbed up on a little edge that was looking into a mausoleum and was trying to look in the windows. I was leaning against the wall, so I was sideways. Well, all of a sudden, there was this huge bang. And she screamed and jumped backwards and took off running. I said, what the hell are you running for? She said, didn't you hear that? There's something in there. There's something in there. And I'm just standing there like there's nothing. I was like, no, that was one of the coal things up on the mountain, because the way it echoed, it hit her. So it sounded like it was coming from in front of her.
Okay.
And not from way back there, which is where it actually was.
Okay.
And I could tell just because of the way I was standing. So she's thinking I'm crazy because I'm not running with her. And I'm thinking she's nuts because she's taking off. But so, yeah, the sound really does. It can mess with your mind sometimes.
Right. It can. If you're not ready for something, if you're not familiar with it, it can really screw with your head.
And that's the thing. She was the one who lived up in that area. She was used to the noises of, all the coal cars and stuff.
Okay.
But I was the one who was able to pick out what it was. So.
And that's good because you have a different angle. You had a different
exactly,
angle.
And that was exactly it. If I would have been facing it, maybe I would have freaked out too.
Right.
But because I was standing sideways, I heard it more with my one ear. And could say, no, that sound was coming from that direction.
Okay.
And also, just a real quick thing.
Sure.
For something that you posted on Facebook about going to see the psychic.
Which one?
The one in Roosevelt Mall.
Oh yeah.
I haven't been to that one. Well, I don't go to any of them, honestly. But I live right up the street from the one at Oxford and Ron.
Okay.
And I got to tell you, I feel like going up there at like 3 a.m. and banging on the door or ringing the doorbell because she has her open sign lit all night long. Never turns it off. And I feel like going and banging on the door. And when she comes in, she goes, "What are you doing? We're closed." Well, the open sign's on. How am I supposed to know? What am I supposed to be? Psychic?
That one, yeah. I mean, you couldn't see it. For anyone else that doesn't know, I posted a picture because I was at a place and there was a sign out that said "Psychic readings, walk-ins welcome," and I was like, "Well, I'm walking in," and you couldn't see it because of the angle of the picture, but it was at the Roosevelt Mall flea market, so it's open into a parking lot. So that sign was literally next to a small card table and 2 chairs where she was sitting.
Oh, good Lord.
So I didn't actually walk in. I was already standing there. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to wait. And then I sat down. And if you saw it, I mean, a lot of people joked about, like, why didn't she see you coming? I mean, she did. She was looking right at me, but had no idea what I was doing. Had no idea who I was, which is good. I mean, that's the way I like it.
Yeah.
And I sat down and just, starting to get a reading. And I listened very carefully to the wording. What words are you asking me? What words are you using to ask me questions? And when she asked about my parents, she made it, and I forget exactly what the wording was now, but she did not ask if they had passed away. Simply that there were an older male and female, and could this be your parents? Sure. I don't know. I don't know how this works. You didn't tell me how you do this. So I kind of just sat down. You started talking, playing with cards. So I'm just going with the flow. So she never actually said my parents had passed. And then when she finally, after giving me all these messages from my very much alive parents, she made a comment asking about when they passed. And I was like, well, they didn't. They're still alive. And that was it. I mean, literally, like, picked my money up, boom, threw it back at me. You go now. You go. Get out.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I mean, I got a free reading, so that's how I see it. I'm good. I'm good to go.
You got a free reading from your live parents. Yeah, there you go.
I could have called them and gotten that. So, I mean, no big deal. No big deal. But all fun. Cool. Thank you very much for that story. I appreciate it.
No problem.
That helps. I mean, because that's something like that. And before I let you go, I had a story like that. So I'm going to tell an anecdote. Thanks, John. We're just going on anecdotes tonight because of John Kennedy. But a while ago, this was many years ago, I was doing an investigation of a private home. And one of the claims was that they were hearing a voice in their dining room. And it was a very loud voice. It was not something that was like only on a recorder or a whisper. It was a loud voice, and they could clearly, distinctly hear words and hear what it's saying. But it was only when they were in the dining room, nowhere else in the house. And we started looking around, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I heard it. I heard someone talking, and I'm looking around, looking at everybody going, no one's talking to me, but I hear a voice. And I took a few steps to the side. I'm like, it's gone. What came back? It's here. Holy shit. What's going on? I'm friggin' like, oh man, I'm going to have to say there's ghosts. This sucks. This sucks. But realized that one of the dining room windows were open. And as we got closer, you could hear it. It was a weird effect. It started to fade the closer you got to the window. But then when you came back, you could hear it more. Finally realized that it was a construction company down, like, across an open field, and they were using a PA system. And every time they were using it, the PA, I don't know if it was just pointed directly at them, but it came through the window and just stayed in that room. The sound bounced around the room, and you could hear it when you were standing in certain spots.
Oh, wow.
So once we closed the window, the voice went away. And then I went down and talked to the construction company. I talked to the foreman and politely explained what the situation was and asked if they could just adjust the PA speaker a little bit to the side. And once they did that, it was gone. They never heard it
Oh,
again.
wow.
So really, really good experience. And I'm glad I was part of that because it gave me, this insight. I'm like, shit,
Yeah.
sound
I
works
mean,
weird.
that's one.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You froze. You froze. Or I froze and I don't realize it yet. But you froze, Audra. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds and I'm gonna let you go and then we can catch up later. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thanks. Anyway, Audra, if you can hear me still, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I'm gonna let you go and get to some of these other questions, and we can talk again soon. Awesome. Oh, we got another one. We got somebody else. All right, let me see. Hold on a second. Dun, dun, boom. All right, we got Tiffany.
Oh, hey, I thought there might be somebody else in the queue.
Oh, no, nobody else is in the queue.
So
what's up? How you doing? What's your you got a question? Story?
No, it's more to talk about how I find how different cultures and area have different urban legends and different types of urban legends and stories and mythologies.
Okay.
Like the US, if somebody dies in a house, it's haunted. Like in older areas like Europe and the UK, they're like, well, lots of people have died in this house. That doesn't mean it's haunted. It's haunted because of X reason.
Right.
Then you have a lot of Japanese and other Asian entities that are just evil for the sake of being evil.
Okay.
They don't necessarily have this long backstory. And I guess this isn't a question. Sorry. And then like war-torn areas in Africa, they tend to rely less on ghosts and more on demons to kind of explain why their area is so war-torn.
Okay.
And so it's just like they do like mass exorcisms in certain countries.
So it's different cultures. It's cultural based, depending on where you are, what you might believe is happening if you're having weird experiences. Is that what you're trying to get to? Okay.
Yeah, and so like there are a few that like every country seems to have. Like most areas all over the world have some sort of lady in white story.
Yes.
That's often somebody that's been wronged.
Yeah.
Generally by a man, or they're looking for, like where I'm from, the local legend was she lost her husband and son in a mining accident and she's looking for them.
Oh.
Yeah, and so it's like they come in different flavors, or they got in a car crash on the way to prom, and phantom hitchhikers kind of come from all over the world. So there's some of these similarities, and like pale skin, like it makes sense because it's more of a deathly look, and we tend to definitely shy away from sick people a lot, so we don't get sick. And definitely near-death experiences are cultural.
When you go across the country and across the world, you're going to have similarities like that. The lady in white is so common, so common. Her backstory changes slightly. There's always different versions. And like you said, sometimes it's prom, sometimes it's a wedding night, sometimes, and it's mostly because of either an accident, a tragic accident, or her boyfriend / husband / lover, whatever, has wronged her or killed her and left her for dead. So, but she's always in white and she's always walking along the road or in the cemeteries, because I hear a lot going through cemeteries.
You have La Llorona, who the Mexican legend that goes along the river, but she drowned her children.
La Llorona?
La Llorona?
La Llorona, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a good book. Let's see. Ben Rafford covers that. Let me see. Hold on a second. I got an awesome picture to show you. So this is Ben Rafford's Mysterious New Mexico, and that's his rendition of La Llorona.
Okay.
Somebody did that, and it's really good. I mean, she's freaky looking.
Yeah. I kind of like the movie. I could see it had its faults, but...
Oh, my God. I hated that movie. I hated it.
I don't know. It's been one of my favorite legends. And so it hit more nostalgic than anything else.
I can see that.
Acknowledge a creature that isn't commonly talked about.
Okay.
It was pretty weak in a lot of areas.
Yeah, it was very, I was like, oh, I mean, I watch horror. It takes a lot. It takes a lot for a horror movie to impress me, and I haven't been impressed by a horror movie in decades. I mean, it's really sad, but I mean, that's just
I went to a special showing of Silence of the Lambs last night, and I was really impressed with how the plot line of that is pretty gruesome.
Yeah,
lots of murderers, cannibalism, all that, but you see very little of it. But it's still terrifying because you know what's going on. And a lot of movies just show it for this shock value. And it's like, no, I was actually more terrified not seeing it or just seeing glimpses of it.
Right. The first Halloween movie was real good at that, where there was hardly any blood at all. And I mean, you're talking about a slasher film, but there was hardly any blood. And most of the scariness came from not seeing Michael Myers.
Yeah.
There's a great show. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix called The Movies That Made Us. And they just put out their last season. Third season is about horror movies. So they tackle Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. And the one on Halloween is really good because I didn't realize so much was based on the audience interpretation of what was going to happen.
Well, I know Night of the Living Dead, Romero, he didn't intend to do any racial commentary. He just, the best actor he knew happened to be a black guy.
Yeah. And that movie, that's famous for changing the genre of zombies.
Zombies are fascinating, and because they're almost exclusively a cinematic monster. How we know them today.
Right.
Romero's what's the horrifying thing? Well, eating their brains. And then afterwards, it kind of went to just general cannibalism.
Right.
And that was just for shock value.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it was, we did a show on this, John and me, Dave and Tim, we did a Three Tortured Souls show on Halloween monsters, and zombies is, that's what I picked. And it was really fascinating to dive into the history and learn the cultural history from Haiti, and the African slaves that came over, that were brought over to Haiti to work in the fields, and then how that legend was taken. I think the movie White Zombie starring Bela Lugosi.
There was also a play that then the play was adapted to.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I got really into zombies for a while.
It was really good. It was really good for a movie that came out, I think, in 1930 something. It was early, very early. It was all right. I mean, Bela Lugosi is pretty much every movie I've seen him in. There's always focus on his eyes. I don't know what the deal is, but it's always a close up that comes into his eyes, and he just stares at the camera. So he's really good at it.
And it's also interesting how, for me, the more that's left to the imagination, the scarier it is.
Right.
I find a lot of short horror or even YouTube videos tend to be more horrifying than full-length movies. The little short about Lights Out, where they turn the light out and they see this demon creature. That little short was terrifying.
That was good. I think the short
movie
was
that's
better
an hour and a half. I heard pretty much lags.
It's the short film was better. I liked it better than the full movie.
And I have a phobia of the dark, so maybe that's why it really struck the chord. So
cool. All right. Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Chilling for a couple minutes.
It wasn't a question, just chit chat, but
that's all right. That's cool. I mean, it passes the time and it fills it in. We get to talk about some cool stuff. I enjoy it, so that's all that matters. But yeah, take it easy. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And hang out for the rest of the night. I don't know how long I'm going to stay on, but I still got at least another hour to go. So hang out.
Have a good one.
All right. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So that's good. I love talking with you guys. I love it. Getting you on here and just chatting. So I want to catch up on some of these questions. So Brenda Lewis had a question. Can you speak on your experience with table tipping? I saw you on YouTube, or your YouTube channel. So I've had some experience with it. I did a whole video on my YouTube channel about table tipping and pretty much showing how it was done with 3 different tables too. One was a card table, one was a very small table, like circular top, and then I think I had a different table in there. I forget what I did. It's been so long. But my experience with table tipping is that it's whoever is in charge is doing it. There is nothing supernatural or paranormal, or there's no entities doing it. There's nothing weird or anything like that. It is simply the person who is controlling the table. I've been to a couple table tipping events, and after a while, I guess this is like a skill that you grow, but I've been able to tell who's doing it and predict where they're going to go, like what direction they're going to move the table. And I'm able to counter it, which is always fun because honestly, for me, to see their face when it doesn't move the way they want to. And so first, there's 2 things that happen. First, it doesn't move the way they want to. So if they try to like make it come towards them, it doesn't move. And they're like, their eyes get wide, like, what's going on here? I don't understand what's going on. And they start looking around in a panic. And that's when I know I got them. But the second thing that happens is because the table didn't move, their hand moves. And you usually see, like, it's really subtle. You'll see like the hand kind of go like that a little bit. Or sometimes it breaks the friction between the hand and the table, and they move slightly like that. And it's a telltale sign to me, like, oh, okay, so your hand is moving in the direction that you were trying to move the table, and you just slid it. So you're telling me, okay, you confirm to me that you're doing it. And there's been a few that I've been to. Like I said, I've been to a few events where they've done table tipping, and there was usually somebody that was in charge. And it really depends on their technique, because sometimes you can do it with your oh my gosh, I'm too sober to talk. That's weird. Sometimes you can do it with your fingertips on the edges, and that's what you're supposed to do. I guess when you do table tipping, you're supposed to have your fingers lightly on the edges, and then go from there. But you can still make it depending on the type of table. Oh, TV tray. That was the 3rd table that I did it with. I did it with a TV tray, a folding TV tray. And that I was able to do with one hand and fingers on the edge and just get it to not only rock back and forth, but spin in circles. With with those small tables that have a circular top that are about 1.5 feet, 2 feet in diameter. And it usually had 3 legs. 4 legs makes it a little harder, but with 3 legs, it makes it easier. And it's not that hard to make it rock back and forth, especially if you have a full hand on it. And one of the table tippers that I was at their event with, I noticed that they made everyone else have their fingertips just like on the edge. Like, I'm going to try to do the upper edge here. And when we had our fingers on the edge, she had her whole hand on the table. So much more control, and you can pretty much do whatever you want. And I mean, again, I figured out it was her. I mean, it was obvious because her whole entire hand was on the table. But the little telltale signs were sticking out, and I was like, all right, well, I know she's doing it. I'm going to stop it. And that's what I did. I made sure the table didn't move at all. And then, which was really funny, I took over and I started moving the table, and I was doing it better than she was. I'm not trying to brag, but I was definitely doing it better than she was doing it. And like, you should have seen the surprise and absolute like amazement on her face. Like, I can't believe this table's going all over the place. So that was fun. And I mean, to add, I guess almost to add insult to injury, I mean, I was turning around to my wife and telling her, I'm doing this. And I was feeling pretty good. So I wasn't hiding it. I kept saying, like, I'm doing this, but nobody realized it was me. Which is kind of sad if you think about it. But yeah, generally, I don't know what your feelings are about table tipping, but I do not think it's a paranormal event at all. I think it's entirely staged. So I hope that answered your question, Brenda. That was a good question. And if you're interested, I can try to find the video. It's on my YouTube channel. So if you go on YouTube and search for Kenny Biddle, I think Kenny Biddle 42. I think that's it, or just Kenny Biddle. You'll find my channel, and you can scroll down to the the table tipping video. All right, so I'm going through some of these questions or comments rather. Dave had to run. Let's see. Audra came on. I'm trying to make sure these comments don't like jump ahead and I don't miss any. Gabrielle, what's up? How you doing? Gabrielle. And I'm looking. I don't see any questions. That's I guess. Oh, wait, there's one. Oh, I hope I don't butcher your name. Doriva? Doriva. I think that's it. Am I far behind? Yes, I am, like 10 minutes behind. All right. So say, how do you handle discussions with people who insist that they experience paranormal visitations from deceased pets? Ooh, that's a good one. I have relatives who believe they get visits from their dog. So I guess it really goes with any other situation when it comes up, when you have beliefs and you're insisting the beliefs are real. If it's not going to cause any harm, like if they feel better, if like if their pet had recently passed away, and I mean, because I'm sure most of you can relate, like your dog, your cat is part of your family, and when they die, it's a big loss. You really feel it. So if it brings them some comfort that they think it's still around, then who am I to judge? Who am I to say, no, it's not? I'm not going to spoil the little comfort that they get from that. The problem is when they start, I guess, preaching it as fact. And that's where I have a problem with it. And I guess problem is a little too harsh because they can't prove it. They can't show evidence of, hey, I got a visit from my pet cat. And how do you know that? Well, if I felt it brush against my leg. There's plenty of things that can cause that. The difference being that if somebody feels like their pants, that like they're wearing jeans, sometimes if you move a certain way, yeah, you feel like something brushes you. Doesn't mean something did. It means, maybe your pant was, maybe your pant leg was stuck in your sock or something and it just moved. I don't know. I'm going with the flow here. The difference is that I might just look down and go, oh, maybe I caught on something. Whereas a pet owner that recently lost their pet will look down and go, oh, I don't see anything obvious. So I wonder if that was, Boo Boo Kitty. I almost said the whole thing. Jay and Silent Bob people will know what I'm doing. Boo Boo Kitty just, brushed against my leg and she must be visiting me again. There's that belief that pops in there when you're in mourning, because that's what it is. You're mourning the death of your pet, and you're going to start associating little things with your pet. If you catch a scent, if you smell your dog or cat, it's not evidence that they're there, they're visiting you again. It's maybe something in the clothing, or their scent is in the couch or the pillow or the blanket or something, and you caught scent of it or caught a whiff of it. So I don't really fight with those. I don't fight that. If people bring it up and say, if they insist, let's say you say insist, that they've had experiences, I'm just gonna say, you know what, I can't prove or disprove your experience. It's your experience. If you get comfort in that, then so be it. But it's your experience. We have to remember that it's your experience. It's from your perspective. It's your anecdote, which is kind of a theme tonight. It's your anecdote. It's your personal experience. It doesn't mean it's what you think it is. That's how you're perceiving it. That's what we're talking about. That's your perception of that event. And as long as they understand that, then by all means, enjoy it. Enjoy your experience and your memory of your pet. But just don't go preaching it as fact. That's all, because honestly, you don't know. So I hope that answered your question. I hope I got your name right. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but I'm sure I'm going to try and catch up with these comments. I'm far behind. I need Donna here to field these questions for me. So Let me see. Let me keep going here. Agree, Kenny. Horror movies just aren't the same. I am so far behind. Movies That Made Us is awesome. I love that series. I absolutely love it. I also love the toys that made us. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful series because it's just so awesome. Let's see. White Zombie. Bela Lugosi is a fun movie. All kinds of focus on his eyes. Oh, that's so weird. Like that. And then like just everything that I've seen him in, which is probably only 3 movies, it always focuses on his eyes. And I'm like, dude, he got some thick eyebrows. That's how I remember. Thanks for having me on, Kenny. Anytime, Audra. Let's see. I'm getting there. I'm almost at the bottom. Unless this jumps again. Let's see. Great example of how you can adapt things. Okay, you guys are still talking about that. Oh, here's a question. John Kennedy's got a question. Have you considered confronting the mass amount of TikTok psychics? Their lives keep coming up. Their live feeds keep coming up on my feed, and I get kicked. So I don't. That's difficult. Because they're on there, they're doing their thing. I get it. And I have challenged a few, but usually within the first challenge or so, or if I comment, and that's the thing, I shouldn't comment because I usually comment something, I write something out, and that's when I find out that I get blocked. So I can no longer look at them. I have to go on my other account to look at their page. But for as far as confronting them, I have issued challenges to them, but I usually also refer them to Dustin Dean, who I had on the show a while back. He's a magician, a mentalist, and he's offering. It was a $1,000 prize for any psychics that can demonstrate psychic powers under his conditions, which I've seen all his tests so far, and I will say I'll state clearly that his tests are fair. There's nothing shady about it. I haven't found anything that was making it in his favor. It was simply going off of what the claimant would say they could do, and he would put rules down and say, all right, like this will prevent you from blowing on something to make it move and make it look like it's moving by itself. But I digress. Basically, he has a $10,000 challenge now, and he's been offering that for the last 2 or 3 months, where he has a $10,000 prize. So I usually tag him in psychic videos on TikTok because it's much easier for him to deal with it than me. I like to focus more on the poltergeist type videos because I can set those up. I can recreate most of those poltergeist videos in my house with fishing line or a magician's thread or just good timing. So I enjoy spending time on that. And then Dustin really gets into the challenging the psychic. So I leave that to him. That's his check. And he's much better at it. He's had years of doing mentalism. And he was on the show. If you check out the show where he stars on it or guest stars, he does a pretty good job. I mean, he amazed me. Some of the stuff that I knew was coming or that I have figured out on my own, he still got me with some of the tricks. So really, really cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but when I go, especially on my debunking page, so I have 2 TikToks. I have one that's just Kenny Biddle 42, which I use to debunk a lot of ghost videos and poltergeist and stuff like that. And then I have my Kenny's Mystery Museum, which I'm on that more than I am on the other one. But on my regular one, my debunking channel, I get so many live feeds, like almost like every 2 or 3 videos that I scroll through is a live feed of a psychic doing a tarot reading. And I'm like, why am I getting all this? I don't really look for them. I look for ghost videos. Why am I getting these live tarot readings? And they never give me a reading. So that pisses me off too. But there you go. I mean, I don't know what else I can say about that. I hope that answered your question, John. So, all right, let me keep going. You know what? I should play my commercial. Let me Why is Leia covered up? So covered up. That is the ascot that I was gifted from one of my viewers. That's Fred from Scooby Doo wears that. But I had it on there because I needed a place to put it. That's all. Relax there, Joe. All right, let me see if I'm caught up a little bit. I love all the conversation going on. You guys are there. It is, Joe, John. That's it. Boo boo kitty fuck. Love it. I was hoping somebody would get that reference. Nice. How's the world? All right. The old UK film Brighton Rock. Let's see. What's this? Brighton Rock is so dark and all set on the backdrop of youth culture of the time, which babbles along. It makes you feel more uncomfortable. I have never seen that. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up. Right. Oh, it did. You did. Thanks. All right. Deriva from Fact. Oh, hey, how you doing? I know you guys. I can't wait till you guys have in-person meetings again so I can come out and hang out with you guys because that's fun. What are the themes on it? Do you mind if I PM? I don't think you're talking to me. I'm sorry. I'm just reading some questions. Or comments. Brenda, do you believe that pets detect spirits due to their enhanced senses? So this is a good question. It comes up a lot. No, I do not think they're detecting spirits. And so far, there is nothing that I've seen. I haven't seen any studies that would suggest this, or suggest it backed by data. The thing is, and I like how you asked this question because you included enhanced senses. So if we look, I think we did a early show of Three Tortured Souls where we went into pets, and like the hearing of dogs, cats, their sight. It was an early show. If I go back and find it, I'm sure I'll post it. But basically, dogs and cats can hear different ranges than us. I mean, we're in the same hearing range, but they have an extended range. So you have to consider that if they can hear more frequencies than we can, there's stuff going on all around us that they might be picking up on. They also pick up on sounds outside. So if they're staring at a wall or down a hallway, it's not that they're looking at some spiritual entity that's down that hallway. Maybe they hear something outside that's on the other side of the wall at the end of that hallway. That's what we have to consider. And I'm not saying that's exactly the solution, but these are things that people tend to forget when they see a dog. Like there's plenty of videos, especially on TikTok that we were just talking about. There's plenty of videos where a dog is on guard. It's staring straight at something. And the dog owner is like, what are you staring at? You're just looking down this hallway or you're looking in this doorway. What are you staring at? What's going on? And some of them invoke that idea that, oh my gosh, there might be something there, like a ghost or a demon or something like that. That's speculation. That's definitely speculation. You have to actually go see what's going on. But again, it comes back to if they're hearing something that's outside and they're just facing that direction where they hear it coming from, they're focused on something outside, not something in the house. So do I believe that pets detect spirits? No, I don't. And because we can't talk to them, and say, hey, like Chewy, when Chewy's here, Chewy's not here tonight, but when Chewy's here, like, and she's looking at something, I wish I could say, hey, Chewy, what are you looking at? And she'll look up at me and go, there's kids playing outside, dumbass. That would be great. I mean, I'd have a talking dog. But no, I don't think she's actually looking at ghosts, because she's done that sometimes. She just stands like in our living room and looks out through the dining room into the kitchen, and she just stares at something. But we have squirrels that run up and down the fence outside. The back door is usually open, so there's sounds coming in through there. So she could definitely hear that. There's other explanations that I would pursue before I would even consider maybe they're looking at a ghost. So I hope that answered your question, Brenda. That was a good question, though. Real good question. Let's see. I'm going down. Oh, did I skip any? Make sure I didn't. Okay. All right. I am caught up. Rip James Randy. Yes, I agree, John. It's fun watching this on 2 platforms at once. Well, that's good. You get my views up. All right. So I am going to. Oh, thanks, John, for posting the link. I am going to do my commercial, which is give me a chance to fill my cup because I'm at the bottom here. So you guys get some more questions. I'm going to go for another 40 minutes or so, and then we will we'll wrap up tonight. So let me find my video. There it is, and I'll be back in 2 minutes and 22 seconds from now. Hey everyone, this is my store based on the theme of science and skepticism. It's here that you can find all kinds of shirts and hoodies, yoga pants, tote bags, the fanny packs I know you guys love, masks and pillows, all with science and skepticism as the theme. I even have hoodies for your pets. That's right, your dog or cat can wear one of these things. I also have a general store that sells more inspirational quotes or, drinking stuff because I like that kind of thing. I also have a store set up for our 3 Tortured Souls podcast, which we do Saturday nights. You can find shirts and Tim Vickers' favorite drinking vessel, the mug. I also have a store tailored a little bit more towards my ghost hunting friends, Paranormal by I Am Kenny Biddle. These are shirts and quotes that are a little bit more on the ghost hunting side, especially this one, Translucent Perished Beings. Ghosts. That's my favorite. So if you're interested, head on over to teespring.com/stores/scientific skepticism by IAKB and check it out. Thanks.
Are you tortured by what you see and hear about the paranormal field? Join us as we critically examine and question paranormal claims, science, ghosts, demons, cryptids, UFOs, ghost hunting technology, and much more are all on the table for discussion. 3 Tortured Souls is a video podcast that streams live on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 Pacific. 3 Tortured Souls.
All right, we are back. Wow, that popped up before I was ready. I was like, I'm reading the comments like, oh. I'm like, oh, there we are. All right, John Kennedy's got a question. Let's see, he's passing along a question. So I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to ask Melissa's question while she's at work. Can you discuss the 21 grams experiment? So, 21 grams experiment is... Let me make sure. Let me look this up to make sure it's the one that I'm thinking about. 21 grams experiment. I think I talked about this a while ago on the show. Last time I did this. 21 grams refers to a scientific study, 1907. Duncan McDougall, a physician from Haverhill, Massachusetts. McDougall hypothesized that souls have physical weight and attempted to measure the mass lost by a human when the soul departed the body. So yes, I did read up on this. And the study was a very, very flawed study. And it's detailed. It's actually detailed. Let me see. Where is it? Hold on. I got a book about it. Let me take down Donna's awesome bottle here that she made me, because this is definitely worth it. So if you haven't gotten this, pick this up. It is a great book, Spook by Mary Roach. She is an excellent writer. She covers this in detail. And then I think the last time it was brought up, I did research it and I had notes. I don't know where my notes are, but basically there were only a few people in this study, and these were terminal patients. I think they were all patients that were dying from consumption, and I think there were 6. Let me see. I should be able to bring this up pretty quick. Let's see. The experiment. I'm going to read this off to you. This is a Wikipedia entry, so don't yell at me. Let's see. All right. McDougall wished to scientifically determine if a soul had weight. Identified 6 patients. Yes, there's the problem. That's a very low. Oh God, I'm having a brain fart. Oh my God, what's the number? I'm thinking. Oh my God, it's a low number to experiment with. But he identified he had 6 patients in nursing homes whose deaths were imminent. 4 were suffering from tuberculosis, 1 from diabetes, and 1 from unspecified causes. I think it was consumption. I think it was. McDougall specifically chose people who were suffering from conditions that caused physical exhaustion. That way they wouldn't move about, because he had constructed a let's see, I studied 21 grams for a show we did with Kenny. Okay, John. Yeah, good. So I know he had constructed a scale that was kind of an industrial scale. I forget exactly where he got it from, but it was not accurate enough to measure what he was doing. That was one of the problems. I think one of the 6 patients actually died as they were trying to put them on the table. So you didn't actually have 6. It went down to 5, and there were issues with the 5 patients. I don't remember exactly what happened here, but there was, I think it came down to 2. I think it came down to actually just 2 patients that he was able to measure, because as a patient died, there were times one of the patients, I think, actually increased in weight. And then after 30 minutes or so, it's sample size. Thank you, John Kennedy. It was a small sample size to 6 people. So yeah, I think one patient went up in weight, and then gradually after like a half hour, it went down. They went down a little bit, but the 21 grams was like an average, almost like a guess, I think. Let's see. Looking. Criticism before McDougall. Following the publication of the experiment in American Medicine, physician Augustus P. Clark criticized the experiment's validity. Clark noted that at the time of death, there is a sudden rise in body temperature as the lungs are no longer cooling blood, causing a subsequent rise in sweating, which could easily account for McDougall's missing 21 grams. Let me see. That's criticism of there. But I wanted to see, when patients looked like they were close to death, the entire bed was placed on an industrial-sized scale that was sensitive within 0.2 of an ounce, which would be 5.6 grams. On the belief that humans have souls and that animals do not, McDougall later measured the changes in weight from 15 dogs after death. McDougall said he wished to use dogs that were sick or dying for his experiment, though was unable to find any. It is therefore presumed he poisoned healthy dogs. What a dick. I didn't know that about that. Wow. What a dick. Wow. One of the patients, okay, so results. One of the patients lost weight, but then put the weight back on. And 2 of the other patients registered a loss of weight at death, but a few minutes later lost even more weight. One of the patients lost 3/4 of an ounce in weight, coinciding with the time of death. McDougall disregarded the results of another patient on the grounds the scales were not finely adjusted, and discounted the results of another as the patient died while the equipment was still being calibrated. McDougall reported that none of the dogs lost any weight after death. So he started with 6 patients, only 4 he collected data from, and they were inconsistent. So the 21 grams experiment was, I think it had a lot of ethical issues with it. I think there were a lot of his fellow scientists were speaking up or speaking out about it because it wasn't the. I don't know. I mean that's. I don't like it. I'm pissed about the dogs. Like I didn't know about that he actually poisoned, or it is presumed. I want to make that clear. Presumed that he poisoned healthy dogs, which sucks. But they didn't lose any weight. But again, there was problems with the scales. I mean, if he had to calibrate it, there's a problem there. There's a lot of problems with this. I don't think it was a great study. It's never been repeated as far as I know. So therefore I wouldn't give it any credibility. I mean, my personal ideas, I really don't matter in this, but it's basically this experiment was shit. It was horrible. So I wouldn't give it any credibility whatsoever. So, all right. I hope that that satisfied your question there, John, or, Melissa's question. I hope you guys enjoyed that. But it's pretty good. And again, yeah, we did do a show on 3TS and we talked about it. I think we talked about it in more detail. Oh, I think, no, when John came on this show, we talked about it in pretty good detail. Why is Princess Leia wearing a life preserver? No, that's the ascot. There you go. Jeez, you guys, you horny freaking guys. This is my ascot. So I can be like Fred from Scooby-Doo. There you go. Wow, that's very colorful in the video. Whew, there you go. But she wears it proudly. All right. Like moving on. Let me see what do we got here. Any more questions? Anybody else want to come on? I'm going to put the link in the chat again if somebody wants to come on and chat for a little bit. I'm going to do maybe like 10-15 minutes and do my announcements. Velma is the queen of Scooby-Doo. I agree. I totally agree. She is awesome. I like her the best out of it because she's smart. She's smart. All right, so I'm going to do some announcements until I get some questions or if somebody pops in. Let's see. All right, so some of the things that I got coming up. I have been doing a course from the Rhine Institute with Lloyd Auerbach. He reached out to me and asked if I would give a skeptical opinion because the course is called A Skeptical Approach to Parapsychology. So we've been doing that. We've had 2 weeks so far. We got 5 weeks to go. And it's one night a week, which is really going good. It's going good. There's like 15 or 20 people in the class. So that's been going good. But some of the other things coming up to Saturday, I almost said tomorrow because I keep thinking it's Friday. So Saturday night on 3 Tortured Souls, we are going to be talking about campfire stories. And we're each going to take a story or two, me, Tim, and Dave, and we're going to tell a campfire story and try to look at its origin and tell you where it came from. So that should be good. That should be fun. October 24th, I will be a guest on Spaced Out Radio with Lynn Wallington. And that's going to, I believe that's going to be midnight Eastern time because they're in California. So it's early out there, but it's going to be midnight here. That's this Sunday night coming up. November 4th, I'll be a guest on the Crossroads podcast with Jody Nettles. And she usually has like a guest that comes on, guest host. And then March 25th to 27th next year already, Rochester Winter Parafest. I might be at. I'm not sure. It depends on what's going on at the time because it's still far out and I'm still, careful because we're not out of the pandemic yet, but we're getting there and hopefully we'll see. And then one last final announcement is that me and JD, mostly JD, unless we hit some kind of goal, we are going to be doing the one chip challenge again. So we did it last year, and here's the box from last year. But we're going to do it again. I got these two. I actually have to send him one, and he's up for it. So we have to actually work out the details. But I think we're going to we're going to try and raise some money for the Cancer Research Institute. So I haven't decided. We actually have to get together and talk about it, but we haven't decided what the goal is to get him to eat the chip, because he was so tortured last time. I felt so bad. He was so much pain. And then even with me, like, it's going to be a higher amount because I fucking hate I hate hot shit. I don't eat anything spicy, but we're going to try and do 2 goals to see if we can get raise money, and then we'll both do this on a show, live show, where we eat it, and then you can watch us suffer, which is always fun. So I want to pop Tom in here because Tom from Tom's World popped back in, and I'm going to pop him on, and then we're going to take a couple questions here. I got 2 questions that came up.
What's going on? I know you missed me, so I had to come back. You know,
you missed me.
We missed each other. You know.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
So yeah, I know, right? So I'm going to call you out in front of your audience here.
Okay.
And I did make a comment in the comment.
There we go. No one can hear you.
Right.
No,
there you go.
Go ahead.
No, I did make a comment in the comments there, and I think you missed it, or you just kind of went over it intentionally. I'm going to call you out and say I want to actually do an interview with you for my channel, for your museum, for your museum in your basement there. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'll do the interview with you.
Yeah,
but you have to come here.
Well, that kind of.
Oh, I thought you meant like over here.
No. I want to be there in person.
All right, yeah.
I want to see all these haunted artifacts.
You can see all of them. The not haunted museum. That's
right.
what I like to call it.
But I definitely want to do that. I think that would be cool.
Absolutely. You can come over and hang out for the day, and yeah, we'll go through some. You can pretty much play with whatever you want except for me.
Wait, is Donna going to be there?
Yes.
Oh, see, now you didn't. Never mind. I'm not even going to go there. You know, I'll be good.
Okay.
But so, no, we can hang out. We can do the interview. We can drink afterwards and all that kind of stuff.
I mean,
yeah. Why not?
We can. Right? And there's lots of stuff down there. I counted it up. The other night I was going through and just like I wanted to update because I have a website and I slowly work on it. I was like, oh, I just want to put on the front like how many items do I have? I think I came up with like 218 items,
wow,
which is fucking a lot. But
well, I'll tell you what, when I come there, I will. I mean, I know you have like a bajillion of them, but I will bring my little ghost box for you to have for whatever purposes you want. Cool. It doesn't have the antenna anymore. I mean, I still have the antenna, but it's not part of it anymore. It broke off.
Right.
But it's supposed to be an authentic ghost box that somebody bought for me like years and years ago as a present. But you can have it for whatever purposes you need.
That's the one thing I need to do because I need space. I need more space. I need to kick my wife's inventory stuff out because like her crafting business that she does all, and I totally have to show off the bottle again. But she does all these crafts and she has a lot of stuff stored down in the basement. And I need to like slowly like push that out because I want to put a set of shelves that has all the ghost hunting equipment that is used because I have a ton of it. And I just don't have space to display it. So
it's like, listen, babe, I know I have this whole room full of stuff and I use it for whatever for my podcast, but I need another room and I need you to get the hell out of there.
Yes, exactly. So
hey, you have another room now with your kid not being there too. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm not allowed to touch that. Nope. So John Kenny, you got question Funko Pop behind me. I'm guessing you mean this one because that's the only one that I see in the picture, and that is Inspector Gadget.
She likes it when you do that.
I love it. This is I got this, but some of the people at Skeptical Inquirer, they like to nickname me Inspector of Gadgets because I like to take apart the gadgets and inspect them. So I think it was fitting. So that's
there.
And then John's other question: what is the structure of spooky trivia for the 3TS episode? I want to prepare. I have no idea. I'm not in charge of that, so it's not my turn to do it. So I don't know.
Even if you did, it wouldn't be fair for him to prepare.
Right? Stop being a cheater, John.
Cheater,
bitch. Let me see what else we have. Yeah, we have to get this weekend. I'll be away, so it can't be this weekend. But
maybe the following.
Let's see. Let me look. What do I got here? So I'm looking at my calendar, and so next weekend, the 30th and 31st. Well, so 30th and 31st. 31st is obviously Halloween. I can't do that because that's Donna's birthday because she's a witch. And she just came home, so I have to be careful what I say. Oh, you have a ghost?
Did you hear that?
I heard that.
It sounded like a damn gunshot. I don't know what the hell that was.
Audra, I need more than a shed. I need more than a shed to store all my stuff. If you saw the picture of the wide view of everything that's down there, there's a lot.
There is
a lot of stuff.
I mean, you had enough stuff to occupy an entire actual museum that was going on at one time.
Yeah. And that was and then that
was
a
year ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago, and I've acquired quite a few more things since then.
Well, you get one more thing with me. I mean, you can have that ghost box. I don't give a crap about it.
I love it. I'll take it. And then we can hang out and just we can go through all the stuff. Everything's out. This is the one thing that was cool when I was up in New York talking to Joe Nickel, and his stuff, everything's in display cases, and it's all behind locked display cases, so you can't take anything out and touch it except for the stuff that's in his office. That's all out, but you can't touch it. I'm privileged to be able to handle some of this stuff. But I showed him a picture of my museum, and he's like, "Oh, that's really good." He really liked it. And then a few minutes later, he's like, "So let me ask you a question. Aren't you worried that people are going to break your stuff? Because I don't think it didn't look like you had anything in cases." I said, "Well, it's in my basement. It's not at a real place." Oh,
yeah. If they're in there, you at least trust them.
Yeah,
because it's your house.
Yeah, if they're going to get into my museum, I know them, and I'll be right there with them. But
I'll be the first with the exclusive video.
Mm-hmm. Well, the whole idea is to teach critical thinking and teach, like, you can hear stories and they're cool stories, but it doesn't mean it's true.
Right.
And some of the claims, and that's what I've done on my TikTok channel, where I take an item and it's like, all right, well, the person that gave me this says it does this to you if you handle it or wear it or whatever. So we're going to do it. Oh, we got another guest popping in.
Uh-oh.
Good. There you go.
Hey, guys.
Come on around.
Is that Donna?
Is that Donna? She showed up.
Hey.
Hi, Donna.
Hi. How are
you
doing?
There she is.
All right. How you doing?
Good. How's it going tonight? Who's in the chat tonight? Anything good?
We got everybody. Everybody showed up tonight.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, they all heard I was here, so they.
Yeah, I know. Tom's a good guy. Sorry I missed you tonight, guys, but I'm glad I can make an appearance. Hi, Dana, Tiffany, John. Hi, guys.
I think they all stopped asking questions just so I could catch up.
Oh.
I was like, holy shit, I'm like 10, 12 minutes behind. Shit.
Sorry.
And then all of a sudden, this dude Tom popped in, and
right.
This jackass shows up twice.
I know.
Right? Hey, man, that's all cool. That's so cool. It was bowling night. I couldn't miss bowling night. Kenny's.
I was telling Kenny I gotta come by there and do an exclusive interview about his museum downstairs.
Oh,
yeah, he's gonna come out.
That would be.
We're thinking like not this weekend, but next weekend.
Right. I mean, it'll be like totally different from everything I do on my channel, but like, hey, it might shake things up a little bit and get me some more subscribers.
That sounds.
I mean, I'm only at 725 right now, so you know.
Hey, that's cool though. I mean, it's great to kind of go back and forth though, you know?
I love hanging out with you guys. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. You are too. I did not win tonight. My team, we've been struggling, guys. Like, we won one game. Like, we are fucking in last place. Well, almost last. I think we jumped up one.
Dropped an F-bomb.
It's all about how much fun you have.
Right? It is. It is about the fun. Yes. I bowled my average 2 games. One I was a little embarrassed about, but we won't talk about that.
It's all right. Hey, I hate bowling, but when I do go,
you used to like that.
I only went because you were bowling. That's when we were dating.
False pretenses.
That's right. I faked it. I totally faked it.
You faked it.
I'm like, yeah, bowling.
Time.
Oh yeah, I love bowling.
I love bowling.
And then we got married, and I said, "Come on, let's join the league." And he goes,
"Fuck no,
I hate bowling." I'm like,
I
hate bowling.
So I just got around him. It's all good.
Brenda, am I in? Oh, thank you, baby. Am I in competition with the Godfather of Paranormal? Well,
the Godfather of Paranormal.
Yeah.
No.
Johnny Zavis.
Oh my God, Zavis is like Grandpa.
No, I'm not. I'm not in competition. There's a difference.
There's a definite difference.
I don't con people out of their stuff.
Wow.
Send us.
Here was a line. Kenny went there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't tell people that they're cursed or their haunting is because of this item, you know, and they need to get rid of it. And by get rid of it, mean give it to me so I can put it on display. People reach out to me and say, "Hey, I heard you take this stuff. Would you be willing to take this?" And I'm like, okay, you know, does it have a cool story? Because I don't want you sending me junk. Like, don't just go to a yard sale and say, "Oh, well, you know what? Here's something that looks weird. I'm going to send this to Kenny."
No. Hey, look, this is a haunted book. Why don't you take it?
There you go. I want something good. I want a good story that comes with it. And if it has a claim that I can test, even better. Even
Why
better.
don't you take this haunted Jolly Rancher off of me?
Oh my God.
What flavor is it?
Why don't you take this?
That was probably watermelon, actually.
Oh my God, that's my favorite. I will take it.
Oh, well, I got a whole bag.
Oh my gosh, it might not make the haunted museum though. I love watermelon. We can do a whole thing on what happens when you eat something haunted.
Oh,
what? How do you know it's haunted?
He just said he had a haunted Jolly Rancher.
He's drunk. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I'm not drunk. I am pleasantly buzzed, but I'm not drunk.
There you go.
Pleasantly
he looks like he's good.
John Kennedy. Well, then send them to me. We need to meet up, John. That's what we need to do. John Kennedy, the only man that's been banned and then reinstated to the show.
We'll be up in Buffalo. That's kind of closer to you, right?
Is it?
Hey, at least I've never been banned from the show.
No.
Not yet.
I can work on that, though.
You can work on that.
I don't have a computer tonight, guys, so I can't really ban anybody.
Yeah, I have all the power.
He's good. Yeah, if anybody tonight, it is not me.
I love it, John. Melissa, John Kennedy, I'm not shippable. Well, I don't know. I see your picture. You look tiny, so you could probably fit in a box. Ship it out. All right. I think that's it for the show. I don't see any other questions. And you totally missed the show, but we did start an hour early. So, and that's just to so I can.
You've gone almost 2 hours.
I know.
If you would have started at 9, I would have had a better shot of being here.
Oh, you know.
However, I will be on another show here on WLFE at 10 o'clock. I'll be on T-Roy's show.
Oh, really?
Tonight?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Halloween.
Oh,
go figure.
Yeah, go figure.
You know, I mean, Ted talked about Halloween last week with Genevieve, and then this week again. I happen to have been on that show, and now I'll be on his show. So
everyone's talking. It's Halloween season.
I'm a whore. I get around everywhere I can, man.
Oh yeah, you got
especially if I can whore out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/thisistownsworld. You know,
go Tom.
Wow, that was pretty good. That was good. That was good. You were quick on the draw with that one.
Yeah,
right?
I'll give you that one.
I try.
It's all good.
LuckyTVstations.com.
Oh my God, everyone!
See,
advertising on my show.
K&D Adventures.
There
We
you
need
go.
to. You know
K&D
what?
Adventures. We need to do one.
Tom, make a small commercial. If you can make a 15-second commercial,
Yeah.
I'll put it in
Oh yeah.
the what is that rotation? Yeah,
I could do that using Filmora 10.
Oh, there you go. Which is what I use.
Right? Imagine that.
We totally need them to sponsor us.
I know.
We do. We've mentioned them a lot.
All right. All right. I'm going to wrap up the show and get out of here. I'm going to get some rest because tomorrow's a big day. Tomorrow's a long day. Gonna go to work. And then we're going to do a couple hours driving, like 4 or 5 hours driving tomorrow.
We can do it.
And then get some more sleep and then get up. And we have our memorial service Saturday. So we'll get through that. It'll be nice to see people, though. People we haven't seen in a while. So, but all right. So, Tom, thanks for hanging out.
Always, man. I love hanging out with you guys. You're awesome.
And I'll send you something. We got to connect so that we can we'll see if you can come out. Are you off Saturdays?
I am not working until February 28th. I'm off for the season.
Okay. So let's plan on next Saturday.
Cool.
For what?
For him to come over and
do a video, do an interview.
Yeah. Okay.
About the basement
let's
stuff.
wait for that for now. If anything changes, let me know and I'll let you know. But for now, let's pencil that in. All right.
Awesome, man.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, Tom.
Bye.
All right. We are at the end here. I did the announcements already, so I don't really have to do that. But I'm going to do it real quick anyway. I'm going to put them up on screen because it's Bob's announcements. And we gotta call out Bob. We got to give a shout out to Bob. So everything that I mentioned is right here. Podcast, and potentially a paranormal conference up in Rochester, New York that I might go to next year. We'll see. I'm not sure yet, but I gave Ted Vanson, who is running it, I gave him a very firm maybe that I might be there. And then I'll let you guys know if we're going to do the one chip challenge, when we're going to do it, but just what the stakes are and like what our donation goal will be, and hopefully we can make it. Otherwise, if you're interested in oh wow, I know, I just noticed I need to put my link tree up here because I have it on the main one here, but it disappears. So if you want to find all my channels and everywhere else you can find me, all my videos and blog or whatever, you can go to the link tree, which is under the name of the bar, and you go there. All my links are there. But if you want to, let me see Bob's announcements. If you like what you see, and I'm totally just plugging myself here, you can go to Patreon if you want to support the show. You can do there's 3 tiers. There's one where it's a couple bucks a month, like $3 a month, and you can do just supporting the show. And then the other 2 tiers get you kind of background, behind the scenes video or photos or comments or stuff. I post pictures there that I don't post on social media or anywhere else, and it's just more of a, hey, I'm doing this, here's some secret information. So I think I actually posted some pictures from my my work with Joe that I had taken, so you can only see it there. And then the top tier, which is I think $10 a month, you actually get to pick a topic of the show, and I'll get into it. And then if you want to come on and discuss that topic with me, you do that. So that's like the bartender, because it's all, it's bartender based because I like to drink. So with that, thank you everyone for hanging out. Thank you for coming a day early and hanging out with me. And great questions tonight. Great conversation. I saw a lot of chat in the chat room, which is great. I love when you guys do that. And I thank you to everyone that came on and just hung out with me and gave their insight or story or asked a question. It was really, really cool. And I love doing that. So with that said, I'm going to play my video and get out of here. You guys have a safe weekend coming up. I know we have one more day of work, but a safe weekend.
Good night, guys.
Donna says good night. She showed up. And remember, never stop learning. And I'll see you next week.